Hey guys, this is Satish here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the analysis for the paper 7, which is for the foundation. It's for the intermediate level, just paper 7, and the subject is direct taxation. Yeah. So, in case if you're planning to become a cost and management accountant and decided to become a tax expert in the direct taxation the direct taxation laws. So I would like to suggest you guys to consider this subject as a serious subject, because this subject you also will be having in the final level also. And in case if you understand these things, these concepts in the direct taxation, it becomes easier for you guys to become an expert by the time you complete your qualification, that is your CMA. Yeah. So having said that, if I see the subject paper 7, which is for the direct taxation, so we have all the tax laws related to the direct taxation in the Indian context. Yeah. So okay, so this for the direct taxation paper 7, syllabus 16. Okay, so the 100 marks split into 10 marks for the Income Tax Act basics. I would suggest easy to get 10 marks, guys, if you put the complete effort to understand the basics of tax laws, because this you might have studied in your multiple time in your graduations, or you might have you might have worked in some of the companies where you will be or you might have worked on the tax laws, right? So considering those things, it might be easier. In case if in the worst case also, let's try to take 5 marks here. Yeah. Okay, let me write neatly, because my handwriting is very beautiful here, right? Yeah. Okay. In case if I consider this one 5 marks, then the heads of income and computation of total income and the tax liability carries 70 marks. Huge number, right? So you got to know which is the thing which you need to concentrate more to get your normal. Coming back to our number 40 and 50 percentage. Yeah. So remember to complete this. When you target this person is nothing but heads of income and computation of taxable, that is the total income and the tax liability, which carries 70 marks. In the worst case, guys, I would suggest you need to get 45 marks. I'll be very much happy if you get 45 marks in this topic. Yeah. So followed by 20 percentage, which is 20 marks for the tax management, administration procedures and the ICTS. So I would inform to you guys the tax management and administrative procedure might be little complicated, because it has a lengthy procedure and might be little confusing here and there. But however, I suggest you guys to concentrate more on ICTS, which I will be talking what it is and how we can get maximum marks in that category. So that in 20 marks, at least you can target to get 10 marks. So see the number 45, 55, 60. 60 marks easy to get. So follow again the 80-20 rule. Okay, but in this case you should be ensure, if you're concentrating this and this one, you should be 100% knowing what you're studying. It's the one challenge you have in this Pareto rule. Yeah. Okay, so coming to the objectives, as you already know, you should be knowing about direct tax laws, which is based on the relevant previous year, and providing an insight procedure to the assessment of tax liability. Very, very important for the various assessors. It might be an individual, company, or any other person. Yeah. So the learning aim is to students to ability to understand the principles underlying in the company's the Income Tax Act. That is the Income Tax Act. Let me reiterate. And you also need to be knowing how to assess the taxable income of the person, and you also need to know the assessment procedure, how you will analyze. Yeah. So having said that, if I go to the high level overview of this subject, you have 10 marks, as already told, the basics of the act. So you should be knowing the basics of act, what is previous year, what is assessment year, when the act started, what and all, who is a person, who is an individual, all those stuff are given in this topic. You can understand that one. So you also have some of the items which is not forming part of the income. So that is section 10, section 11, section 13. So you also need to remember that some of the sections are very, very important in the direct taxation, also in the indirect taxation also, which when I come to indirect taxation I'll talk about that. But however, since we're talking about the direct taxation, you should remember that all the important section, not everything. I'm not suggesting you to remember everything. At least the important ones. See, somewhere they told section 10, 11, 13a, which is important. That means these things you need to remember. These are all related to the items which are not forming part of the total income. That is how you need to become a smart worker. I mean, a smart person to become a cost and management accountant. Yeah. So coming to the 70%, which is the heads of income and computation of total income and tax liability. This also should be knowing how to arrive at the various heads of income and clubbing of provisions, set of carry forward of losses, and the deductions. Okay. I think this deduction might be under section 80 I believe. Yeah. So 80C to 80U is what I remember. Yeah. So assessment of income and tax liability of the different person also can be understood. Yeah. So remember, at least you should be getting 45 is what I told, right? I think 45 is what I told. Yeah. And coming to the section C, which is carrying 20 marks, 20% or 20 marks here. So TDS, TCS, advanced tax, including these things. If you concentrate this getting 10 marks. I'm taking the worst number. 10 marks is not at all a difficult task. So should be knowing what is TDS, what are the percentage of TDS we have for the various person, what is TCS, what are the percentage in which situation we could deduct the TCS, a difference between TDS and the TCS along with the advanced tax. You also need to remember some of the due dates for the payment also should be remembered in this context. Yeah. So including the how much is the interest, penalty, all those things should be understood. So ICDS also should be understood at the same importance whatever I just told you. Yeah. So having said that, we have the income tax, basic, revenue receipts, all those things we just discussed. Section we have here, excluding section 9 here. We have income which are not forming part of the total income, which is section 10, 11, 13 here. Simple, done. Okay, so total heads of income also you have various topic and subtopics, salaries, income from house property. Remember all the sections which are excluding in the profit and gains of the business. Also have the capital gains income which is forming part of your heads of income, and you have the clubbing of provisions, you have clubbing of various persons, assessees, aggregation of the income, and set of carry forward, how many years you will carry forward the loss, whatever it is. Then you have the deduction. Now you will be knowing that various tax laws have been brought into place. You'll be having standard deduction, you'll be having various other deductions which you need to consider. You should be knowing the latest amendments done in the current assessment year or the previous year, whatever it is applicable. Yeah. So relief rebate also should be understood. This you have very few topics but easy to understand, that also can be concentrated. So applicable rate of tax and the tax liability, very very important. You have like 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever it is, that also should be remembered properly so that you will not miss anything in the calculation of the tax. Okay, so similar way, I will not take much time because the video will become lengthy. So you need to know about the assessment of income and tax liability of different persons, that is a taxation of individuals including AMT but excluding non-resident also should be understood. Alternate minimum tax, I believe, and HUF should be understood. Firms, LLP, association of persons, and cooperative societies also should be understood at the taxation point of view. Okay, so with this, if I come to the tax management, again I told some people might feel difficulty, but however remember you should be knowing the TDS, TCS, difference between TDS, TCS, advanced tax, due dates, and some of the items which will be forming part of your TDS, and what is the tax percentage which will be deducted by the deductor. Yeah, that also should be understood, and the due dates very very important. And in the ICDS, you should be knowing the basics of ICDS, and in the administrative procedure, know at least the return, when the return will be done, how the assessment will be done, and who is the person who will do the assessment. And PAN card, what is PAN card, what is the procedure to apply the PAN card, all those basic things can be concentrated. So intimation and brief concept of assessment can be concentrated if in case we are passionate about the taxation. Yeah. Okay, so these are the page numbers with topic whatever is applicable, but in this case also guys, the page number concept might not applicable. So 1 pages per day, 2 pages per day, 10 pages per day might not helpful, but however I would suggest you guys to concentrate on some of the concepts very important in each of these things. So see, based on your analysis with the previous year question papers, then accordingly you can keep working on those things. Yeah, so however I just listed some of the important points for your reference. Yeah, so this is not 100%, but at least an attempt to explain to you guys that what can be expected. Yeah, so what can be expected by you guys to understand this one concept. Yeah, so you should be double sure that you know about the residential status and income deemed to be received in India, which is under residential status category. I'm just reading from my notes. Yeah, so you also need to know the agricultural income. So the incomes which are not forming part of your income whatever discussion, this also should be clearly understood. Yeah, so once that is done, you also need to work towards your income under head from house property, because salaries might be easier for you because it will not have much difficulty, considering some of the few things which will be little difficult, but basic salary, if in case if they give a very easier problem, is if you practice couple of problems it becomes easier for you. But however, remember it from house property is little tricky, but ensure you concentrate on that one. So sections under income from the profit and gains of profession, that is notes number 7. So try to remember some of the sections guys. So I would suggest like remember 32, which is related to depreciation, 30 for this one, and 31 for insurance. All those a few things whichever you feel comfortable, you can try to remember some of the section, because that will get a good marks for you guys from the examiner. Yeah, so that is what is the update. So I think I covered most of the points guys. So I already told you guys, so the taxation is one of the important and uh, a tricky subject, I would like to say. But in case if you crack the subject, it's not difficult for you to get a very good marks in your taxation. Yeah, so having said that, let's go to the key important points what I just listed based on my experience for the taxation subject, that is your direct taxation subject. Yeah, okay, so key subject for the P07 direct taxation. So you need to remember you study in a systematic manner. Very important guys, because when I was a student I just had a lot of challenges that without a proper guidance, so I just started preparing randomly, started from heads of salary, then I went to capital gain, then I came back to basics of tax law, then I went to some other topic, then I went to some other topics not at all, or which were not in a sequence. So very important, in case if you're studying this one, first you should be knowing the Income Tax Act, followed by the heads which are not forming part of the total income, followed by the income assessment. All those things should be studied at a step-by-step procedure. That will give you a clear picture how the Indian taxation system is designed. Very important. Yeah, then study along with the recent amendments. You will be having a lot of amendment which institute releases from time to time. So keep that with you, as in when you study the new topic or the previous topic, right? See if some changes are happened to the topic which you are already studied or which you're going to study today or tomorrow, whatever it is, so that it becomes easier for you to remember that yes, some topic has changed and some recent amendment has been done to the taxation. That can be removed. Best example, so you might be reading in income from heads of income, and you'll be or you should be keeping the latest tax rate which is applicable for an individual, something like that. You can ensure you follow that one. Then you should be having at least 3 revision guys. Very important, because considering the so many topics, subtopics, subtopics, all those things we have, right? So considering those things, you should be having a perfect revisionary plan just to avoid confusion during the last minute of your examination. I mean, like last minute, 1 or 2 days before the examination, just to avoid the confusion. This is very important. Okay, so having said that, note down the key important points related to your any of the taxation, I mean any of the acts, any of the sections. If you believe that 80 section, whichever we have. If in case if you feel it's confusing, you can list 80C is applicable to investments of PF, LIC, all those things. 80CCC can be something, 80U can be something, 80QQB something. All those things you can list in a sequence so that it becomes easier for you to revise during the examination period. Yeah. So one mock test, two revision, we already told. This revision also is important because this you will do mostly on a weekly or a bi-weekly or something like that. But this revision is during your actual examination. Yeah. So previous year question papers can be referred along with RTP, PTP, all those things are previous year. But also remember, you will or you should be knowing the amendments, not just blindly reading. Yeah, because that previous year question papers might be having a different law. Current financial assessment year might have a different law. So you should be knowing which is the right one and pick those changes and then accordingly prepare for the examination. Yeah. Okay, so one reference I would suggest, guys, please do have one reference book of whichever the author it is, because I do not suggest any one particular author, because all authors are beautifully designed their textbooks, reference books, or whatever you call it. So pick whichever is convenient for you. Go to the any of the bookstore. Go to the bookstore, not online. See, open the book. You will get the feel, and you'll come to know which is the best book, which will satisfy your that eagerness to learn about the taxation. So go to the bookstore. You might not get a discount, but you'll get that feel. So if you order online, you might get a discount, but you will not get that feel. That's the reason I wanted to tell you, go to the store and buy the book and understand the concept thoroughly. As I already mentioned, go in a systematic manner, already told, and understand the concept thoroughly, then you proceed. Try to adopt those things in your real life so that it becomes easier for you to understand taxation in the real manner. Okay, so understand few important sections already told. Section 80 should be remembered. We also had one of the sections, right, wherein the incomes do not forming part of total income, which is section 10, 11, 13A. All those things can be remembered in this case. Yeah. So important case laws which institute releases from time to time should be considered for your upcoming examination. So workbook of ICMA, practice manual of ICAI can also be suggested for your examination for the taxation. Yeah. So 45 days is more sufficient. Some people might take 60 days based on your convenience, based on your timing, availability, all those things you can plan. But however, I suggested for an 45 days sufficient time for the study planner. Yeah. So RTP, PTP, MTP, everything is relevant, including the previous year question paper. Along with the amendment, recent amendment, refer these things. And if in case if you've done this one with a perfect, thorough approach, I would suggest, or I would expect you guys to get a very good marks in your taxation. Yeah. Perfect. I think I just gave a lot of information on this thing, guys. In case if you feel something is missing, some more information is required from me, please do give a comment below this video, and I'll be happy to support you guys and give maximum information available from my side. And in case if you like this video, if you got some information, hit the thumbs up and hit the subscription button to support my initiative. Sharing is caring. Share with your friends and people who are aspiring to become cost and management accountant. And this is Satish signing off for the day. We will meet in the next video. Check it and bye bye.